On January 26th and 27th of this year, a newspaper I read every day carried a story that in Africa the locusts are the worst they've been in years. They are killing crops and destroying farmlands. Hundreds of millions of locusts are creating the worst situation there in years. A mysterious virus in China was also in the news, and since that 26th of January, when there had been 41 deaths and 13 affected, and now 2.5 months later, there are close to 2 million cases and 125,859 deaths and rising every day. This is a worldwide pandemic known as the coronavirus or COVID-19. Also in the news on the same day was that Iran had shot down a Ukrainian jetliner, killing 178 people, and that the act was in retaliation to Trump's order to kill a Muslim leader. Another article claimed that in the previous 2 months, 61 people in 16 states had come down with E. coli poisoning from tainted romaine lettuce. And on the 27th of January, I read that 49 people were killed in Turkey from an earthquake that hit 6.8 on the Richter scale the day before. About a month later, there were 6 tornadoes and winds up to 175 miles per hour that devastated Nashville, Tennessee, and killed 25 and still counting. And the next day, there were more tornadoes predicted with high winds and hail. Every week, there's another tragic news event. The world has never in its history seen a combination of hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, floods, volcanoes, famine, insect infestation, diseases, viruses come together as some of the worst in history for its kind. Aren't you wondering what in the world is going on? The COVID-19 virus is not a random occurrence or an accident. This virus and all these devastating world tragedies are all part of the master plan of God, which is preparing us and warning us that the world as we know it is coming to an end soon. Jesus said to his disciples in Mark 13:29 about the end times, "Even so, when you see these things happening, you will know that it is near, right at the door." What's right at the door? The rapture of the church, taking all believers to heaven for 7 years to avoid the devastating events of the tribulation and Armageddon, which will change the world as we know it. Most Christian, evangelical, and charismatic leaders believe that the COVID-19 virus is preparing the world for the rapture, where millions and maybe billions of Christians will suddenly disappear from earth with the trumpet call of God. The virus will also bring attention to the Bible and should produce a harvest of new Christians. What is the rapture? The word rapture does not appear in the Bible. It comes from the Latin word rapare, which means seize, snatch, or take away, spelled R-A-P-A-R-E. The term rapture is used to refer to the faithful believers being taken up to meet Christ in the air, as described in this passage written by the Apostle Paul in 1 Thessalonians 4:16-18, the International Version. And it reads, "For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so we will be with the Lord forever. Therefore, encourage one another with these words." How many will vanish in the rapture? By experts say that of 7.5 billion world population, there could be as many as 1 billion Christians, or 13% worldwide, who will be raptured, and as few as 75 million, which is 1%. The initial reaction after the rapture from those left behind will be interesting. Most will speculate as to why people suddenly vanished with clothing they were wearing left behind. There will be unbelievable hysteria on earth. There will not be any believers left, so marginal Christian believers, including some pastors and priests, will know it's the rapture, but other theories will abound. Some will say it was a UFO, an alien attack. Others will say it was the Muslims who designed an all-world capture, genocide of Christians. Some will say that it was the result of biological germ warfare, and others will be afraid to speculate. There are 17 predictable and devastating events and situations caused by the rapture, and your family and friends who are left behind will have to experience them unless they are saved in whatever time is left. The most devastating and debilitating fallout from the rapture will not be physical. It will be the world's most vulnerable commodity, its economy, particularly in the United States because of its standing as the most powerful nation and the effect that its economy has on the rest of the world. Most American wealth is stored on paper that has no intrinsic value. For example, certificates of deposit, shares of stock, annuities, investment real estate deeds, etc. Over the 2 weeks immediately following the rapture, hundreds of millions of insurance claims will be filed worldwide, seeking tens of trillions of dollars in insurance benefits, far more than the reserves of all insurance companies in the world. Then a month after the rapture, most insurance companies will be on the verge of bankruptcy. Within 6 months, the insurance industry will no longer exist. And then within days after the rapture, financial advisors will realize the collapse of the insurance industry is imminent and unavoidable, and they will issue bulletins advising their clients that if they own stock in any company that has strong ties to an insurance company, sell the stock now for whatever you can get. Take the hit now while the stock is worth something. This will trigger panic selling by large shareholders, such as mutual funds and retirement funds. Most banks and major corporations and insurance companies have strong ties to each other. This will cause panic among the general population. And as soon as they realize a major stock market crash is in progress, there'll be a run on the banks. Then credit cards and other kinds of bank credit will instantly cease. And once again, this will greatly increase panic. Unemployment will become rampant. Unemployment claims will skyrocket, bankrupting unemployment insurance programs in the major countries. Panic hoarding of food, medical supplies, gasoline, heating oil, similar commodities will erupt. The sudden massive decline of most people's financial situation will cause major social upheavals. The U.S. will be hardest hit because it has the largest economy and a large national debt. The economy is obviously the force that will change the social fabric of the world. But following are more slides that will give you more events, 16 more events or so, situations of the devastation that will take place on planet Earth, including your neighborhood, your town, your state, and your country. People will find family members missing, including children. Workers will be missing from jobs, and that will leave many retail businesses vulnerable to theft. Businesses such as banks, grocery stores, clothing stores, and any other businesses with money handlers. So people will realize this, and stealing and ransacking will be rampant. People who are raptured while driving cars will cause complete chaos with crashes and deaths, and it'll be worse because of the lack of first responders. Police departments, fire departments, tow truck operators, and other first responders will be left short of workers. Prisons will be missing guards and key personnel, and in some facilities, the prisoners will take charge. Airline pilots, private plane pilots, ship captains, and train engineers will be raptured, and chaos will reign with crashes possibly killing thousands. Some government personnel, including country presidents, prime ministers, senators, governors, mayors, and other elected officials, could be raptured, leaving severe gaps in leadership. Some top-level people from the armed services of all countries will be raptured, leaving major security issues as well as a shortage of leadership. All churches will have members left behind who will know it's the rapture, and will call for meetings so everyone will know who were believers and who wasn't. Some churches will be almost empty. Non-believers who were warned by believing family members will seriously begin to study the Bible. Hospitals will be short-handed, and patients will die in the operating room if the attending physician is raptured. The public and private schools, daycares, and universities will be in complete chaos due to loss of students, teachers, professors, and management personnel. Sports teams at all levels throughout the world will suffer, and some professional teams will go bankrupt because of the loss of players, coaches, or referees and paying fans. Many social media outlets will create hysteria, and speculation will move fast, perhaps crashing the internet and newspapers. Television shows will be canceled because only news will be shown, and TV companies will have to use less staff to cover the chaos and hysteria on the streets. Movie theaters may have to resort to showing rapture stories for a while. Please tell other Christians and unbelievers about this presentation, because the signs of the time that were prophesied are all in place, and the hour is near. Also search on YouTube or Breakthrough Ministry International so you can see some of our other video presentations. Thank you, and God bless.